ప్రస్తుతం RBI గవర్నర్ శక్తికాంత్ దాస్ మీడియాతో మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. లైవ్ ద్వారా చూద్దాం.
Available information for April and May indicates that the recovery in domestic economic activity remains firm, with growth impulses getting increasingly broad-based. Manufacturing and services purchasing managers indices, that is the PMI, for May point towards further expansion of activity. This is also corroborated by movements in railway freight and port traffic, domestic air traffic, GST collections, steel consumption, cement production, and bank credit. While urban demand is recovering, rural demand is gradually improving. The contact-intensive services related to trade, hotels, and transport have recovered in Q4 of 21-22. Going by the early results of our surveys, capacity utilization in the manufacturing sector increased further to 74.5% in the fourth quarter of 21-22 from 72.4% in Q3 of 21-22. So that is in the last financial year 21-22, between Q3 and Q4, the capacity utilization in the manufacturing sector increased from 72.4 to 74.5%. Capacity utilization is also likely to increase further in the current financial year. Investment activity is thus expected to strengthen, driven by rising capacity utilization, government's capital expenditure, and deleveraged corporate balance sheets. Improvement in investment activity is also reflected in pickup in demand for bank credit and persisting growth in imports of capital goods. Merchandise exports have remained buoyant with double-digit growth for the 15th successive month in May this year, while high growth of non-oil, non-gold imports is indicative of recovery in domestic demand conditions. Looking ahead, real GDP is expected to broadly evolve on the lines of the April MPC resolution. The forecast of normal southwest monsoon should boost Kharif sowing and agricultural output. This will support rural consumption. The rebound in contact-intensive services is expected to sustain urban consumption. Our surveys suggest further improvement in consumer confidence and households' optimism for the outlook a year ahead. Business sentiment remains upbeat according to early results of our surveys. Nevertheless, the negative spillovers from geopolitical tensions, elevated international commodity prices, rising input costs, tightening of global financial conditions, and slowdown in world economy continue to weigh on the outlook. Taking all these factors into consideration, the real GDP growth for 2022-23, that is for the current year, is retained at 7.2%, with Q1 at 16.2%, Q2 at 6.2%, Q3 at 4.1%, and Q4 at 4%, with risks broadly balanced. I would now like to focus a little more on inflation. The CPI headline inflation in April registered a